Hey guys, King of Charmander here, to be your judge, your jury, and your analyst. And today I bring to you my early meta-analysis for the Fossil Cup. So this cup is really dumb. I do not know, you know what I was thinking about? I was looking at the meta, I was like, is this really dumb? Because Rock and, you might as well just take off Rock, because other than I would say Cradilly, there's really no reason to have Rock in this meta. Water and Steel types are so powerful on their own that with the dual typings, for example, Water, I can name off the bat Araquanid, Swampert, Politoed, Pelipper. For Steel types, we have the almighty trash can known as Registeel, the most legendary and annoying thing on this earth. Well, in Go Battle League, if you don't have one, or if you do have one, you're probably going to have something that kills it. And of course, Galarian Stunfisk. So with no caveats to the Steel typing or the Water typing, if it was mono typing, I'd be interested. But really, this is just a smorgasbord of Niantic has someone that's paid a lot at the higher echelon of the food chain, and they don't do a good job. Actually, I don't think Niantic's PvP team does a good job in general. You could tell they're just a bunch of San Francisco tech trash that does a very bare minimum job, gets paid, and talks about whatever the hell tech related, etc. I should know. I used to work there. So, yeah, it's really sad. Anyways, before we get started, my therapist mental health tip of the day is going to be... Okay, so it's the summer. Y'all should go ahead and have a break, go outside, go hang out with your friends and your family. Do not take them for granted, etc. Now, I want to say spend more time with your friends and family at this time, just because Go Battle League is one piece of broken crap. No, seriously, I've been hearing reports of the game being relentlessly broken, and it pretty much is. And the interlude season really did nothing to... or it did something, but not a lot to actually fix anything, and players are still lagging. You could probably bank them to lag at Worlds. So, with the game being the state it is, if you do feel like you must play Pokemon Go PvP because you feel like you're behind or something like that, no matter what, whether you win or lose in Pokemon Go PvP, nothing changes in your life. Yes, I get paid to do content creation, but it's not enough, and this isn't really what I want to do to begin with. I like this because it's more of like a hobby. Why I do what I do here is because it helps me develop my speech to be more articulate so that I can do better delivery and be more concise as a therapist. So this has a purpose to it. And I have people that love watching my content, so why not? You know what I mean? I do this for y'all. I don't do this for them. I don't do this for all this other stuff. So this is why I do what I do, because of y'all. So win or lose, I know I still have an audience, so I appreciate y'all. But yes, you don't have to play Go Battle League. You seriously don't. No matter what you do, whether you make Legend next season or whether or not someone becomes the world champion, nothing changes for them. Well, things do change, but not on a massive scale. Because, for example, if someone, let's say Apex, Fortnite, or some other game, you know, those sound pretty familiar, huh? If they became world champions, there's an enormous player base for those games. So they got it made once you do it. And plus, they're probably signed to some big esports organization like G2, Energy, or Optic, or FaZe, or that comes to mind. There's a lot more nowadays, but those are the big ones that come to mind. Oh yeah, TSM. So, yes, whether or not, no matter where, Pokemon Go is going in a very bad direction right now, and we're not making a meteoric rise as far as PvP to anywhere where it really merits. We'll never pack up a huge stadium in comparison to other games. And as players, it doesn't really mean that you're a bad person or that you suck. It's just, this game is broken, it's not really that interesting, and, you know, you could get better at it, but the end result, what's the end result for? Doesn't really affect your life, right? Enjoy your friends, enjoy your fine family, be mindful, and you don't have to play Pokemon Go PvP. Just putting that out there. And without further ado, this is my early meta analysis for the Fossil Cup, and let's get started. Alright, so I already did the custom rankings here. This is the 2 shields, so these are going to be the leads. Now, this is kind of messed up because some of these rankings just really don't make any sense. Like Araquanid, or for example, why Ferrothorn is so low on the food chain and why Araquanid is number 1, I have no idea. I get it because of things like Wish Cash and other counters to things like Registeel, but the thing about it is if you play Open Great League, there are better things than Araquanid. Or rather, the reason why it's out here is just because, well, there are better things, but I do agree with Araquanid at number 1, just because Araquanid pretty much beats all other water type metas. You resist, you wall Swampert, and you wall Swampert, you wall Wishcash, you wall Politoed, unless you have, well, actually you still wall Politoed, whether it's Blizzard or Earthquake. And you can beat things like Ferrothorn just because of the neutral damage, and Bug Buzz does a ton of damage. And other than Power Whip, which does neutral damage, you do pretty much, or Bullet Seed, you do resist Flash Cannon, etc. And Thunder is pretty much Ferrothorn's best weapon here. So Araquanid does reign supreme, but this is why I'm just like scratching my head. It's like, did y'all really think about this? I don't think, well, you know, if Niantic thinks, you give them way too much credit. No, seriously, you give them way too much credit. So with Ferrothorn is ranking at number 3. I agree with this because Ferrothorn does have Thunder, so it's pretty much your Hail Mary against Araquanid. And Ferrothorn does beat all the other water typings available out here. I'm not sure why Lombre is out here at all. I'm kind of like my head, scratching my head, but it's mostly because of Razor Leaf and that it can beat Swampert. But like I mentioned to you, this is probably going to flip a little bit when the official rankings came out, because some of these I just really don't agree with. Like Registeel should be higher on the food chain, especially with Zap Cannon, and things like Magnezone and Walrein. Those should be a lot more powerful. The only thing is, I do agree with Araquanid in its place in the lead, just because Araquanid is going to be, like I mentioned, it pretty much walls all the other water meta, and it gives the rest of most of the other relevant picks a kind of a hard time, just because bug resist fighting. Outside of, I would say, electric types or Registeel or like G-Fisk, etc., because G-Fisk and Registeel, steel typings, do resist Bugs and Bug Bite. So Bubble Beaming a Registeel to death is not a comfy thing. So just putting that out there. So, but Araquanid, Registeel, or Araquanid, Registeel, Stunfisk, something of that sort, I can foresee to be very powerful in this cup. Swampert is in top 10. It's still very, very strong. Swampert does wipe out a lot of meta just because of Munch-Out, Hydro Cannon, and Earthquake. Now, where you get the bad rep because of this is because of Araquanid. Of course, I already mentioned that. Araquanid beats most of the other water typings around here. And it's also going to be you're going to see it a lot. And Registeel and other steel typings are still really good. Rock should not even be a thing in this meta. The highest rock type on this spectrum is Laleep and Cradily. They're real, like, you look at the meta and it's just like rock just doesn't even have a presence. So no, like I mentioned, whoever thought of this doesn't really think, yeah, they probably don't really think about anything. But top leads from first look is going to be Araquanid for sure. Jellicent can have some use as well. I would see that just because of the fact that you have Shadow Ball, Bubble Beam's a powerful combination, and Hex, nothing really resists Hex in this meta. Walrein will probably be a good one with Powder Snow and Earthquake, but the problem is water typings are going to be very, very relevant, so there's that. Swampert could also be, as I say, Swampert can be a good lead. Walrein, Swampert, Walrein. Ferrothorn, look for Ferrothorn to be a beast as well, because it's going, even though it's slower than Araquanid per se, Thunder still hits really hard, and if you do land that Thunder, you can possibly OKO Araquanid at certain range. So yeah, a lot of good typings picked here. The good thing is, in this meta, you probably have a lot of these Pokemon built already. I would say one of the dark horses here is probably going to be Magnezone. Magnezone is going to pretty much be the destroyer of worlds in this meta. Nothing in this meta really gives Magnezone a hard time except for Ferrothorn, just because Ferrothorn pretty much hard walls you. But outside of that, electric type Pokemon are very, very dangerous in this meta. Swampert and Ferrothorn are probably going to be the ones that give you the hardest time. I forgot about Swampert, but other than those two mons, Magnezone has a very good, well, actually Lombre as well because of grass water. Magnezone has a very good combination against, well, not even Lombre. Never mind, it does neutral damage. My brain's found out here. Magnezone's good. You might want to use it in the lead if you do have one for Great League. Alright, next up is the One Shield. And the One Shield, when One Shield goes down, there's a lot of things to go to town. Ferrothorn is still a top mon. Like I mentioned before, Power Whip and Thunder is a very strong combination in this meta. And Swampert's going Swampert. Swampert is still really freaking good. Hudshot, Hydro Cannon, and Earthquake will put a lot of pressure against multiple combinations. And Araquanid is still up there in the one shield just because Araquanid beats the other two above it. So I'm not sure Araquanid is baked higher, but I understand just because Ferrothorn does beat a lot of the water typings. And of course, Swampert, Hydro Cannon is just overpowered. Other than that, in the one shield, a lot of other picks are going to be Magnezone. That's why I told you Magnezone might be good. Registeel is also a very good pick. Melmetal is kind of shocking, just because that's, I don't know. Because with the thing about Melmetal is that if you look at his matchups, yeah, it beats Registeel, Magnezone, etc. But if you do eat a Focus Blast, you kind of die. And you don't get stabbed with Melmetal's moves, so that's why it's a little interesting. Along with that, things like Swampert and Politoed and Jellicent can absolutely wipe you out to oblivion, so just putting that out there. A hidden mon that I didn't mention before is Excavalier. Your fighter in this meta is definitely going to be Excavalier. Excavalier can punch its way to victory, taking out Ferrothorn, the Steel typings, and the Rock typings. The only thing that's going to give you a hard time is, of course, water types like Araquanid and Swampert, and Araquanid can kind of wall you. I don't know if you would want to run Megahorn. Aerial Ace is going to be your play here, especially if you want to counter to Araquanid, but you do resist, as a Steel and Bug type, you do resist Bug Buzz heavily. So, like I mentioned, with Aerial Ace, let's look at this. That's actually a good idea. So let's look at this. If you have Aerial Ace, because you're not going to run I don't think Megahorn's the play here. So if you have Aerial Ace, you can win in the zeros. Aerial Ace still does like a quarter of Araquanid's HP, so I can foresee Drill Run Aerial Ace being the moveset here, not with Megahorn. There's not a lot of things you're going to hit with Megahorn. You kind of want Drill Run still just because you want to hit those Steel typings. But you can do some, you kind of don't need Drill Run. You can run Aerial, but I would say Aerial Ace Drill Run. Aerial Ace Drill Run, or if you really, really want to disrespect your opponent over 9,000, you can Acid Spray it. Just like if you watch, if you watch Demon Slayer, you know what I mean? The what's her name? The Hashira, I forgot what her name is. You know, the one that has like, oh wait, hold on. No, that's her brother. Gyutaro, yes. Gyutaro will poison you. Yes, Acid Spray. I shall name my Excavalier Gyutaro, and then I shall Acid Spray everything to oblivion. But in the one shield, basically high pressure wins the game here. Again, top picks for the one shield would definitely be Ferrothorn, Araquanid, Swampert, Registeel, Magnezone, and Excavalier is also one of a good pick for a team. The rock types are pretty useless in this meta, so I wouldn't use them outside of Cradily, but yes, Rock is kind of very disrespected here. But a lot of the options in the one shield that are top picks are basically top leads. So you're likely going to have at least one of the top 15, I would say, or top 10 in your team. And last but not least, we have the closers. So when you have no defense, like, let's see, what basketball? Oh yeah, basketball. When you have no defense, like, what's a person that has no defense? Ja Morant. I'm just kidding. I'm a Warriors fan. I live in the Bay Area. I've been a Warriors fan for a very, very long time. Remember sitting at the, what's that place called? So when I was still active duty, I was coming back home from Afghanistan. So I was coming from Baltimore, and I think there's a center at every airport where active duty can sit around. So at that center, I forgot I forgot what that center is, but I was watching the Warriors get eliminated by the Clippers way back then. So this was back in 2013. Did I imagine in the next 8 years they would become a dynasty? No, I did not. So I am not a bandwagon putting out there. But yes, when you have no defense or you have no shields, these Pokemon will absolutely annihilate this meta. And if you watch my meta analysis, you already know Wild Charge will charge through like a rugby player on roids, or an NFL player just running through like Ezekiel Elliott. It's the only person that comes to mind, but I'm not a fan of the Cowboys. I don't follow football that much, so yes. Well, I follow football, but I'm not a fan of like the 49ers or anything like that. I don't care for the Quest to Fix 6 or whatever the heck not. I'm a basketball. But I follow football. Anyways, Wild Charge goes to town, as you see here with Magnezone. Also with Registeel with Zap Cannon. This is why my brain's kind of like, why isn't Registeel ranked higher? I kind of get it because of all the water types running around. Ferrothorn still reigns supreme. If you can hit things in Thunder in the closer, it's very likely going to win. Swampert in the closer is also very powerful just because of Hydro Cannon. Excavalier, Ludicolo, sadly not with the Solar Beam, but with the Leaf Storm, is incredibly powerful. You're gonna run double grass. You don't have to run Bubble Beam. I mean, you don't have to run Hydro Energy Ball and Leaf Storm. You can run a different combination, but generally double nukes is the play. And if you're running Ludicolo, you're probably just trying to have some fun at this point. Cradily, as far as rock type goes, Cradily is still a top closer, but still not as great as everything the above, just because rock doesn't resist thunder, electric type moves, or anything of that sort. Plus, things like Registeel and Excavalier, those things are very, very powerful and can nuke you to oblivion. So, just be very mindful and be very, very careful. Now, the reason why Cradily is still good in the closer is just because of its grass presence. Grass Knot should OKO most of the water typings in this meta that it's weak to, not neutral to. So just putting that out there. That's why Cradily in the closer, as much as I'm dissing the rock type archetype except for Cradily. No, actually I'm not dissing all of them. Like I said, Cradily is good. But as you see in the closer, the meta is pretty stale. Usual closers are still very, very powerful, and like things like Registeel, Swampert, and Ferrothorn. Ferrothorn isn't as popular as it used to be. It definitely was meta at one point. So, or super meta at one point. So that's what it is. This team closers still filled with legendaries, legacy moves, and of course, wild charge. And that's GG's. I hope y'all enjoyed the video. In plain sight, the Fossil Cup doesn't really feature the fossil Pokemon. It's really dumb. Yeah, because if you were gonna create a Fossil Cup, I would think things like, you know, Lord Helix. I would have been in favor of just having like Lord Helix or like Kabuto, Kabutops, all of the fossil available Pokemon to be, you can only use those for this cup. Because when you have the rules, like I stated, rock, water, and steel, that combination is just disgusting and just not even all, it's like, well, for me, I don't really have fun playing Go Battle League. It's kind of, like I said, it's just a hobby. I just want my Stardust. But other than that, it's really, yeah. It's really stale. So this is going to be really hit or miss. It's not going to be a very, very fun meta. It's just going to be infested with, like I said, super meta picks in combination with a really weird combo. But I think it's really disrespectful to Lord Helix that this cup doesn't put the fossil Pokemon on a higher pedestal. So yeah. Yeah, other than that, it's something, you know, it's a little interesting. I don't know. I'm pretty numb to, like, Niantic. I'm ever expecting Niantic to do anything good for PvP at this point. But hopefully y'all are excited for the newer season. It is ranked coming out, however, with the game as broken as it is right now, and literally still 0 changes to the game, you know? We could really use an unranked mode, rental teams, you know, other changes, held items. Yeah. But unfortunately, those aren't available. And of course, Niantic is one of the laziest and most tech empirical freaking companies in the world. More on that video later for the fact that what things we really need in PvP if we really want to build this and to make it grow. We have no shot at becoming a huge esport. No shot. Like, if I said huge and went up to like the CEO of like FaZe and tried to sell Pokemon Go PvP, I probably wouldn't even make an appointment. I'd probably just get kicked out the door and say you're an idiot. Just putting that there. But yes, other than that, I hope some of y'all do enjoy this Fossil Cup. As far as fun, there's really no fun in Meta Cups nowadays, right? At least that's my perspective. Do you agree or disagree? Please put in the comments for YouTube algorithm. As of course, please like and subscribe. And as of you know, I will stream on Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. So that's when I usually stream nowadays. And yeah, it's really sad. But I hope some of y'all are really looking forward to the newer season. Good luck on your Go Battle League sets, and I will see y'all on the next video.
That I need, all the things that I have craved, these are what I could have seen.